the Prizm Fast Break Basketball. We have Chris Paul of the Oklahoma City Thunder, followed by Obi Toppin of the New York Knicks. Then we have Jonas Valanciunas of the Grizzlies out of 125, followed by Pascal Siakam of the Raptors and Larry Nance Jr. of the Cavaliers. We have Josh Hart of the Pelicans, Shaquille O'Neal of the Lakers, the Kenyon Martin RC of the Houston Rockets, and that is going to be going to Daniel, followed up by Blake Griffin of the Pistons and DeJounte Murray of the Spurs. Will Barton of the Nuggets, Buddy Hield of the Kings, Wendell Carter Jr. of the Bulls, the fearless Larry Bird of the Celtics, and Giannis of the Milwaukee Bucks. Tristan Thompson of the Cavs, Caleb Martin of the Hornets, Julius Randle of the Knicks, Thaddeus Young of the Bulls, and Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. We have Gordon Hayward of the Celtics, Harry Giles of the Kings, Denny Avdija of the Wizards, and that's going to Michael, followed by Devin Vassell of the Spurs and Dirk Nowitzki of the Mavericks. We have DeAndre Ayton of the Suns, Dorian Finney-Smith of the Mavs, and then we're going to have an auto, and it is Patrick Beverley of the Clippers. Patrick Beverley of the Clippers going to Jerry SoCal. Then we have the Fireworks, Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler of the Heat. Tyus Jones of the Grizzlies, Russell Westbrook of the Rockets, the blue Malachi Flynn RC out of 175 of the Raptors going to Camille. Then we have Seth Curry of the Mavs and Al Horford of the Sixers. Malcolm Brogdon of the Pacers, Marc Gasol of the Raptors, Lejeski Pukusevski of the Thunder. This is 1056 right now, George. Of the Thunder, followed by Jackson Hayes of the Saints and Emmanuel Mudiay of the Jazz. And George, I feel like you are new to Break Traders. Thank you for joining us. You can always see the current break is going to be right underneath my face. And then the schedule of the rest of the schedule will be underneath me scrolling. Robert Williams of the Celtics, Frank Kaminsky of the Suns, Andrew Drummond of the Cavs, the throwback James Harden of the Houston Rockets going to Daniel, followed up by Derek Favors of the Pelicans. Kristaps Porzingis of the Mavs, Avery Bradley of the Lakers, Precious Achiuwa of the Miami Heat, and that is going to Cynthia, followed up by Dwayne Wade of the Heat and Danny Green of the Lakers. Drew Holiday of the Pelicans, Luka Doncic of the Mavs, Devin Vassell of the San Antonio Spurs. That's going to Simon, followed by the downtown Jason Tatum and Kevin Huerter of the Hawks. We have Ish Smith of the Wizards, the Robert Woodard II RC, And then we're going to have the Zeke Najee of the Nuggets, and that is going to be out of 125. Followed up by James Harden of the Rockets and Cam Reddish of the Hawks. Harrison Barnes of the Kings, Jarrett Culver of the Timberwolves, the Grant Riller RC of the Hornets going to Pat's Pulls, Bam Adebayo of the Heat, and Dron Hernan-Gomez of the Timberwolves. Tim Hardaway Jr. of the Mavs, Thomas Bryant of the Wizards, the Nick Richards RC of the Hornets. Nick Richards of the Hornets going to Pat's Pulls. Brandon Ingram of the Pelicans and Taurean Prince of the Nets. Terrence Ross of the Magic, OG Anunoby of the Raptors, the blue Darius Baisley out of 175 of the Thunder going to Mr. CEO, followed up by Nerlens Noel of the Thunder and Dennis Rodman of the Bulls. Reggie Bullock of the Knicks, Zach LaVine of the Bulls, Trey Jones of the Spurs, and then I think this might be it. It is not. This is just a Disco Precious Achiuwa of the Miami Heat going to Cynthia, followed by Jamal Murray of the Nuggets. 2 packs left right here. Still waiting for that Disco variation. Kevin Porter of the Cavs, Zach Collins of the Trailblazers, and I think this one is it. There it is. It is Kira Lewis Jr. of the New Orleans Pelicans, and that's going to Pat's Pulls as well. Followed up by the Kawhi Leonard throwback of the Clippers going to Jerry SoCal. Then we have Duncan Robinson of the Heat. And our last pack in this one. Trae Young of the Hawks, followed by Rui Hachimura of the Wizards. And then we're going to have the pink Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague out of 50 of the Atlanta Hawks, and that's going to Matthew. Followed up by Bam Adebayo of the Heat and Dwayne Wade of the Heat. Yeah, not a great fast break box, but let's get into it. We got the Precious rookie rundown. Precious Achiuwa of the Heat, the Disco, Trey Jones of the Spurs, Nick Richards of the Hornets, Grant Riller of the Hornets, the red Zeke Najee of the Nuggets, and that's going to Lance, followed by Robert Woodard II of the Kings going to Mark, Devin Vassell of the Spurs going to Simon, Precious Achiuwa of the Heat going to Cynthia, Lejeski Pukusevski of the Thunder to Mr. CEO, the blue Malachi Flynn of the Raptors to Kamel, Denny Abadaya of the Wizards to Michael, Kenyon Martin Jr. of the Rockets going to Daniel, and Obi Toppin of the Knicks going to Mr. CEO. And now on to our featured cards. And we just have 2 of them. We have Kira Lewis Jr. the Disco variation, and Patrick Beverley, the fast break auto. Kira Lewis Jr. of the Pelicans going to Pat's Pulls, and Patrick Beverley of the Clippers going to Jerry SoCal. And there we have it, folks. That's the end of break 1056, and we'll be right back from BT Field.